Hello, happy Friday. Other coffee brands are available. Welcome to episode 37. 37 in a row? 37 episode of I forget what it's called. Inside the Video Store. Inside the Video Store. That is it. I hope you're all well. Thank you for your overwhelming response to last week's episode. That was really well watched, so I appreciate that. And what have we got for today? Well, what have we had this past week? It's been a good week, to be honest. It's been a very busy week. I'm still kind of pinching myself as to when this whole thing with being busy will quit, but it's just pretty relentless right now. Last week was thereabouts our record week for movie rental, which is just very, very cool indeed. Saturday was nutty. But it's brilliant, really great to see, and there's good films going out, but there's really great films coming in. You know, it's all well and good me saying, well, you know, it's great to see people, you know, renting good films, but you know, some of these films that are coming in, week out, day in, day out, are just absolutely ridiculous, and it's good to see that people appreciate that and are renting really cool films. Social media wise, I ripped up my Twitter account this week, the one that I've carefully nurtured for 15 years. It's gone to my 5,000 followers, which have been carefully cuddled and loved for the past 15 years. They've gone. I just pressed delete on that, and off it went. It had changed a little bit. I don't want to get into the whole politics side of things, but I am now over a Blue Sky, which I must admit is a very refreshing social media app. It's great. There's a great vibe there. There's lots of interaction. There's lots of really, really nice people. And I've just kind of curated the account whereby all I see is film-related, bit of music, film-related material. And it's really, really cool. It's really, really nice. And if you want to come over and give us a follow, then please do. On the Blue Sky app, you can find me at Snips Movies. What have we got for today? Surprisingly, no change to the format in any respect. The gilet is out, though. The gilet is out. Thus 4 degrees outside and absolutely Baltic in here. Obviously, I run the whole heating for the entire establishment is done on a 1-bar fire. Why pay for heating when you need to afford £100 box sets? Heating should be the last of your worries. You know, come on, just rub your hands together. The gilet is out. We have an on loan section as always. We have a stack of little new release movies and boutique releases as well. We have a little bit of what's in the box. Like I say, this from now on in, what's in the box won't be massive. We're into the last 6 weeks of the year now. We kind of need to save a bit of dough for the Vinegar Syndrome subscription renewal. So that's a little bit of a priority at the moment. So we'll just be picking a few little bits up here and there. Nothing mega, nothing massive. Vinegar Syndrome will be coming in, I guess, probably about the second week in December. And yeah, there'll be bits and bobs, but otherwise it will be a relatively quiet period for what's in the box. We have some Sleeping Giants, which are all LBGT themed, and also some VHS, which I like to include, that I reckon deserve a place on a modern day format, or they deserve you to seek them out and take a look, because they're all pretty cool. Anyway, let's crack on with this week's new releases. It's another weighty stack. I mean, I tried to do a one-armour of this, but unfortunately, due to my absolutely pathetic physique, it was a struggle, to be honest. So it was a two-hander in many respects. Leading the pack, and it's not, I wouldn't say it's a box office title, but it's a very nice looking title. It's called Thelma. I don't know if you've seen it. It's about 93-year-old Thelma Post. and she gets duped by a phone scammer pretending to be her grandson. So she sets out on a treacherous quest to reclaim what is owed her. It's based on a real life experience, and it's kind of like an action comedy with a 93-year-old in the lead. So looks really cool. And it's also the final screen performance for Richard Roundtree, which is especially poignant. But that is Thelma. It's out this week on Blu-ray and DVD. Next up, we had two releases, which have only come out on DVD in this country, which is a surprise. I'm not a Blu-ray fascist by any means, who just kind of turns his nose up to any kind of non-Blu-ray film. But it's just a surprise. I think they're films that would lend themselves to Blu-ray quite nicely. Signature have put out Slingshot, the new Mikael Hastrom film. Brilliant cast in this. You got Casey Affleck, you had Larry Fishburne, David Morrissey is in it as well. A sci-fi film. You don't get many sci-fi films coming in here with big sci-fi clientele who come in foaming at the mouth for any outer space set shenanigans. And at last, I can quench their thirst with Slingshot, which sounds pretty cool, actually. So yeah, I should be checking that one out myself, I hope. From Blumhouse, who are fairly prolific these days, we have Afraid, DVD only. Chris Weitz directed it. It's about John Cho plays a character called Curtis, whose family are selected to test a revolutionary new device, a digital family assistant. So yeah, it's taken a smart home to the next level. Naturally, everything does not turn out very well. So hey, but looks alright. Looks alright. So that's the three movies, contemporary releases, which will look good. And then we have a stack of boutiques, 3 labels, I think. We have 4. 5. We have Radiance first, and like I said the other week, when the Die Gothic box set came in, Haxan came in, Radiance this fourth quarter, they are releasing some phenomenal films. And like I said several times in the past, I think next year I'm gonna make sure that even if I have to drop a title or two, I think that Radiance, just for the effort, the sheer effort that goes into these, I'm going to have to make more of an effort to get all of their releases, but we shall see. Anyway, first up we have the Slap the Monster on Page 1. Slap the Monster on Page 1, a film by Marco Belluccio. Obviously the polizioteschi genre came very late 60s, more early 70s. This is 72, slap bang in the middle of it. And it looks absolutely fantastic. Days before a general election, a young girl is raped and murdered. The editor of a right-wing newspaper uses the story to help the Conservative candidate. I mean, it's like a modern-day fairy tale, isn't it? Good Lord. Both sounds fantastic. More quality Italian cinema coming in. Next up we have Ray Milland in a film that he actually directs himself. Crazy cast in this. Gene Hagen and Ray Milland and Frankie Avalon. Amazing. Again, I've got this on DVD, I'm sure of it. But I can't remember much about it. Milan takes his family on a fishing trip, and the holiday is brutally interrupted as a catastrophic atomic war breaks out. Good Lord. And it's about the survival of that. Again, fairly pertinent subject matter, don't you think, 50 years on? More. When's that? 60 years on. Good Lord. And finally, from Radiance, we have Japan Organized Crime Boss. It's a blueprint for the work of Fukasaku. It's his first collaboration with, going to mangle this, Bunta Sugawara, star of Battles Without Honor and Humanity, as well as Wakayama and Noboru Ando. Don't know if you understood any of that, but I do realise I don't have the Arrow box set of Battles Without Honor and Humanity. I don't got the Battles Without Honor and Humanity box set from Arrow. Is that worth a look? It probably is, isn't it? But for some reason I've never really got into the whole Yakuza trend of Japanese movies, and I should really do that because they look uncompromising and phenomenal. So yeah, if someone wants to comment and tell me what direction to go in with any Yakuza films, then that would be very helpful. On to Eureka. We have first up Edward G. Robinson in Black Tuesday. Very stark slipcover there. What date we got on this? 1954. Hollywood gangster movie. So it stands tall alongside Key Largo, White Heat and Kiss Tomorrow Goodbye. Black Tuesday is one of the finest gangster films to emerge from this later cycle. An old-fashioned Wise Guys meets film noir sensibilities. That is Black Tuesday, out this week from Eureka and part of their Masters of Cinema range, number 300, no less. 300, good lord. Next up, more Eureka, The Sword, a film by Patrick Kamtar Tam-Kar-Ming. This one comes from 1980. More wuxia, resurfaced of course in the 1980s, the likes of Duel to the Death, The Bastard Swordsman, and Soy Hark's Zoo Warriors from the Magic Mountain. Rejected the realist approach adopted by Kung Fu cinema in the previous decade. This is classed as one of the earliest and best pictures to emerge from this wuxia revival. I haven't seen many of the wuxia films I've been getting in, but they have been popular. And certainly Eureka are the people who are pumping these out with astonishing regularity. Now this is more my cup of tea. The greatest sea adventure in history has just begun. Yes, it's Juggernaut, with David Hemmings, Anthony Hopkins, Shirley Knight, Ian Holm, and Roy Kinnear. Directed by Richard Lester, no less. Absolutely marvellous. Cruise liner SS Britannic travelling through the North Atlantic, 1,000 passengers on board. And then they get a phone call from a man identifying himself only as Juggernaut, saying that there are explosives planted aboard the Britannic. It's actually inspired by a real-life bomb threat against the Queen Elizabeth II in 1972. It looks great. Looks really great. It's Juggernaut, out this week via Eureka, and of course available to rent at your local video store. Now next week is the big Shaw Brothers week. Yes, Arrow's third box set of Shaw Brothers films gets released. Absolutely remarkable collection and a remarkable series of box sets. But for now, for this week, we just have to contend with the three Shaw Brothers movies, Super Spies and Secret Lies, where we have the Golden Buddha, the angel with the iron fists, and the singing thief. So yeah, of course, studios all over the world with the James Bond phenomenon sought to capitalise on that style of picture, including Hong Kong's Shaw Brothers, who began producing tales of intrigue, espionage, and grand theft in the mid-1960s. So this is something quite different from what we might ordinarily think of with the Shaw Brothers. But that's the beauty of that studio, and that they did have such a diverse array of material. Quite remarkable, really. But yeah, like I've said it in the past, sound like a broken record. But going back 15 years, I think I had one Shaw Brothers film in here, which was King Boxer. And since then, it's just been absolutely wonderful. We must have close to 100 now. And it's so pleasing to have that studio represented here, because they played such a massive role in the film business at that time. So influential. Pain in the arse, that Arrow aren't on Amazon. I like to order direct from Arrow anyway, but I always forget. And Amazon have my release schedule. I can, filter all the forthcoming new releases by in-date order via Amazon, and so I formulate all my release schedule week by weeks through Amazon because it's so easy to do. Of course, with Arrow Video not listed, it's quite annoying because you tend to miss out films. But nevertheless, Tommy is out this week. Isn't there a few of these? I think a few people were disappointed that there's only the one being put out, but still, based on the smash hit series of the same name by cult manga artist Junji Ito. Tommy tells the tale of an evil high school seductress, identifiable by a beauty mark beneath her left eye, whose bewitching kiss drives men to madness. That is Tommy, out this week, courtesy of Arrow. And finally, we have a couple of box sets here for you. We have probably the least exciting box set that Indicator have put out since they started. They put many box sets out. But yeah, it's the Prior and Wilder box set, which is still a very nice set with two very enjoyable movies. But it is a little bit of a which just kind of highlights the arrogance of the physical media collector today, because we have such unbelievable delights to pore over, and when something which is very welcome but it's a little bit bang average comes out, we tend to be a bit throw our toys out the pram and so forth. But still, it's a good box set. These films deserve good upgrades, and it's nice to have Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor on 1080p. And finally, I bought a 101 Films release. Overpriced though it may be. And it was overpriced. £40 for Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2 is a little bit outrageous, to be honest. Special features are the ports from the Scream Factory releases, the booklet. There's a booklet in there. And jammed in there, but yeah, it's fine, but you're kind of stuck. I mean, I'm happy with 4K UHD, obviously, and they do come dual format. But I do feel sorry for those people who have just Blu-ray and they want to pick it up, and they have to be lumbered with a 4K UHD as well. One disc missing. It's in my PlayStation 5. But yeah, I just walked in today from watching Slumber Party Massacre 2, which is great fun. I don't think I've seen it before, to be honest. I think I'm getting it confused with Sorority House Massacre 2. But I really did enjoy it. More than the first, possibly in a stinking Bishop Cheese kind of way. It is good fun. But yeah, that is the Slumber Party Massacre 1 and 2, out this week via 101 Films, and available to rent here on both Blu-ray and 4K UHD, and that is the new releases this week. Monster week, really. Next week is very good indeed. Then we have the 2nd of December, the 9th of December, and the 16th. So still 4 more strong weeks of boutique releases to go before Christmas. They're really trying to force that product out there in the hope that it sells in this glorious time of the year. Okay, let's have a look at what's been renting out this week. Coffee. Mum of the Golden Arm. This was a customer I had in on Saturday morning, I think. I didn't actually realise I had it in on Blu-ray, but it must have been one of the network. When network were kind of teetering on the brink, I was buying a lot of network at the time, and I got this, directed by Otto Preminger. Stars Frank Sinatra, Darren McGavin, Kim Novak, and Robert Strauss. Sounds a great film. The guy who rented it certainly sold it on me, so hopefully when he brings it back, I might just take that out, because it looks great, and a score by Elmer Bernstein as well, so how can you go wrong? Mr. Andy Grinnell rented Prevenge, because we had a good chat about Alice Lowe's forthcoming film, which was Time something, but that's meant to be quite good. In fact, it looks very good indeed. So that is her forthcoming film, still without format. I don't think whether it's going to go to streaming or physical media, but Prevenge is the film she did prior to that, I think. But nevertheless, whether it came before that or what, it is still a very good film indeed. A very good film indeed down here in my post-millennial British horror film section. Thoroughly recommended. This is somebody. I recommended this to someone. They came in for An Innocent Man, which I didn't have. I have ordered it, but yeah. And I kind of thought, well, what else can I give them in a Tom Selleck kind of way? So I thought of the Jesse Stone collection. The Jesse Stone. Well, I gave them 2. I can't give them all 9. I love these films. I love these films. These are the types of films for a wintry afternoon. Close the curtains, get a hot cup of latte from other coffee suppliers are available, and cuddle a dog and watch something absolutely wonderful. And they're just great. Selleck is really heavy on the creative side of this. They're all based on the Robert B. Parker novels, and they're just great murder mysteries in a small town. And I think they're great. I'm sure you will have caught them, or 1 or 2 of them over the years on Channel 5. But I'm so thrilled when Medium Rare put out this box set a few years ago. Yeah, I'm glad to have these, because these are the types of films I could take home at any time. I just happily put one on when I don't want to particularly think too hard about anything. If this was a weird one, one of my customers came in for Miracle Mile, which isn't weird at all, to be honest. Steve DeJohnette film is absolutely fantastic, a brilliant Tangerine Dream score. But lo and behold, as soon as this was rented on Friday, maybe Saturday, someone else came in for it about an hour later. 2 people wanting Miracle Mile on the same day. Absolutely crazy. Obviously I've got this on Blu-ray and DVD, but alas, the customer who came in second was happy to wait for the Blu-ray to come back, so he will rent it next weekend. But isn't that weird? 17,000 films, and 2 people asked for the same one. Absolutely nuts. Also Saturday, there's a bit of a situation developed. I had a lovely gentleman who'd driven an hour here from Macclesfield to rent 9 films, and just spectacularly well prepared. He presented me with a printed list no less, of films that he wanted to rent. And I looked and I thought, I don't think I've got that one. And I thought, well, it is on your database. In fact, I've included the database listing number, catalogue number, right by it. I went, oh, well done you. But yeah, he had loads of Italian films on it from the Italian Classics collection. And in my infinite wisdom, I'm a perpetual sleeve turnarounder. Can't resist it. If I have a sleeve, double-sided sleeve, I have to turn it around. It's just in my blood. Anyway, but as you'll know, because you know as well as I do, the English title of the Italian Classics collection is printed on the standard sleeve of the box. So this is Knife of Ice. So when I turn it round, I have the Italian title. And funnily enough, I don't know Italian. So when I'm presented with a list of 3 Italian movies on a Saturday morning when it's really, really busy, and I've got to find them out of 100 bookended, it's kind of a bit of a panic. So yeah, that was fun, trying to find the 3 Italian movies based on the Italian spelling, which didn't go too well, but we got there in the end. But that's fine. Noted. Something to think about in future weeks. Great to see an Adam Rifkin film going out. I think Jake took this one, Invisible Maniac. Big fan of Adam Rifkin, of course. So many great films. So many great films. But believe it or not, this is one I haven't seen. Invisible Maniac. I would love to see it. And to be honest, when Jake brought it to the counter, I forgot I had it. So I must take a look at that when he brings it back. But it's good to see that going out. And finally, one of my favourite films of all time. Has rented as well. Eating Raoul. Huge fan of Paul Bartel. I'm trying to pick up the 3 films he did in the 80s, which are stuck in my Amazon basket in the US, but because they just won't dip in price. I know what you're saying. You think, well, if you love Paul Bartel that much, you'll pay $25. But I know, but I like a bargain. I have been out for a couple of years, so we'll see if they dip in price. But still, mega to see this going out. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So they are a selection of what's been renting this week. Let's have a look at what's in that box. Okie dokie. Now this is just amazing, isn't it? Just amazing. I had all these on that shitty Vipco label, and it was crap. I know people kind of look at that kind of thing through, misty rose-tinted glasses. I think, oh, it was wonderful. And yeah, we did get to see stuff that we might have got to see, but it's in such poor quality. So to see these little rarities of Italian television, the 4 House movies, the House of Doom box set, 2 films by Lucio Fulci, 2 films by Umberto Lenzi, is just absolutely wonderful. This was sent over from Diabolic DVD. It's released by their sister label, Cauldron Films, who have been putting out some amazing releases. And this is just great. We have The House of Lost Souls, The House of Witchcraft, The Sweet House of Horrors, and The House of Clocks. Amazing little films. They're not as great as Lenzi's other work, not as great as Fulci's other work, but for completists, really, really cool. And you get 2 CD soundtracks in here as well. It cost a pretty penny, but this is value for money because you really do get what you pay for. And it's a really lavish, lush box set. And very, very pleased to have this. And it's region free as well. So all my lovely patrons can get their sticky paws on it. Last week we had some German stuff in. It hadn't all arrived. Ooh. So here's the rest of it. I know you're eager to see the Asylum movies that I'm getting in because you're such huge fans. Well, tough, because here you go. We have a sequel. I know you've been waiting for it. The sequel to Road Wars. Mark Atkinson's film. Spin-off mockbuster of Mad Max. We have Road Wars, Max Fury with Vernon Wells. Amazing. Directed by Mark Atkins. Mark Atkins is one of the better Asylum directors. If you see Mark Atkins' name on a film, you know you are going to get quality. Arctic Armageddon. I am a sucker for anything ice-themed disaster. So yeah, have a look at that. We have 2 from Fred Olen Ray's son, which is great. Great to see him doing so well. Chris. We have Assault on Hill 400. Eric Roberts, William Baldwin, and Michael Madsen. Come on. I mean, how can you ignore that cast? Superb. So yeah, that is Assault on Hill 400. 3 old guys wandering around some fields, probably. But hey, I like that kind of thing. Then also from Chris Olen Ray, we have Meth Gator, which isn't bad at all, to be honest. I quite liked it. For a good creature feature, this certainly qualifies. Very recommended. And I know a lot of you won't be into your Asylum movies, but if you want to pick up one, then I do thoroughly recommend Meth Gator. Jeremy London stars in Moon Crash. Another disaster-themed. This was a riff on Roland Emmerich's Moonfall, but no one went to see Moonfall, so I guess it kind of lost its impact. But never mind. And then finally, one of the older golden oldies of the sci-fi era, SYFY, we have Alien Express with Lou Diamond Phillips, directed, no less, by Churi Meyer, who, I don't know if you're aware, directed a really cool horror film from the 1990s. Is it up here? Yeah. This thing, Sleep Stalker. If you haven't seen Sleep Stalker, it's very much worth your time. If you do watch it, you need to tell Matty Pedrevich, and he will be your best friend forever. Yeah, so Sleep Stalker. So yeah, 3 Warner Archives, just to quickly look at, one of which I really enjoyed this. Well, as I should. It's Hedy Lamarr and George Brent. It's a Jack Turner film. One of his most understated, to be honest, but it's a really, really good story. Opening sequence, torrential rain, a train in complete darkness through the countryside. It just, when it opens, you kind of know, yeah, this is a Jacques Tourneur film. Really good stuff. Thoroughly recommend it. Experiment Perilous is out here on DVD. We have Julie, Doris Day, Barry Sullivan, Louis Jordan and Frank Lovejoy. Did enjoy this a great deal. It's another one of Andrew L. Stone's films, a director held in such high regard by Brian Sauer and Elric Kane. And it's just great fun. It got slated on release. It got slated, but it got nominated for 2 Oscars, weirdly enough. And it's a little bit silly, but it's for a thriller and for entertainment value. It's absolutely top drawer. So that is Julie with Doris Day. Thoroughly recommended and currently out on loan. And then finally we have Black Market Babies. No idea what it's about, but with that title, I don't know how I could refuse it. Oh, directed by William Bodine. Very cool. Black Market Babies, and is in now and available to rent at your local movie rental store. That is what's in the box. Let's have a look at some comments, and then we'll finish off with a few Sleeping Giants and some VHS. Okie dokie. What have you been talking about? What have you been talking about this week or on last week's show? Paul Berryman. I really enjoyed The Beekeeper. Fantastic cast and a fun story. Really great action too. Interesting seeing all these German Blu-rays. Yeah, that's good. The Beekeeper rented out this week to one of my customers, Steve, who was really happy to see it. He's been asking for that film for months and months and months. No sign of a UK release at all. So cool to get the German release in, UK friendly. And it means my customers are happy and they're not having to pay for Prime Video, which can only be a good thing. Good old Nathan. I'm glad you found my tip about Come and See useful. It's such an essential piece of cinema. Yes, Nathan was here and he said to me, Dave, have you got Come and See? I said, yes, Nathan, got it on DVD. He said, have you got it on Blu-ray? I said, no, Nathan, I haven't got it on Blu-ray. It's American Criterion only. But he said, Dave, it's multi-region. And I said, right, let's deal with that. So we got in. Jenna Fish watched one of the latest Asylum films, Monster Mash, which has the classic Universal monsters going against Dr. Frankenstein. Pretty entertaining and directed by Jose Prendes. Jose Prendes has done some good films for the Asylum. He did a couple of Haunting of Something movies that weren't bad. But Monster Mash I haven't seen, but it sounds terrific. James says, I've got Cocoon on German Blu-ray. It's near impossible to get a US or UK copy. One over there. I know what you mean. You can't stream it anywhere apparently because it seems to have been pretty much been erased from existence. That is weird. I mean, I know when people say, everything's unavailable. And it's not the trendiest comeback when you say Cocoon, isn't? It's like people just shrug and say, yeah, big deal. But still, sometimes we like to see Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin and Steve Guttenberg. Do you watch Steve Guttenberg's Instagram things? I feel compelled to watch them most days. He does these really happy Instagram videos about how grateful he is to be alive and all that kind of thing. And it's, I don't know, just weird, but fascinating. Film Wolf, hey Dave, does your Robert Davies story involve drugs, wild women, and does he owe you a tenner? No. No, honestly, this Robert Davies story, it isn't that interesting to me. It's just I interviewed a filmmaker once where Davy was in his film, and he said it was the most horrific working experience he had ever had in his entire life. He said Davy was just asking for ridiculous sums of money. He was asking for ridiculous things on set, and it was just completely unhappy. And he just didn't get how how tight the budget was and how little money they had. He didn't seem to care. That's one guy's opinion. I mean, I had a customer at the weekend who met Robert Davey at a recent convention and said out of all the people he's met at every convention, Robert Davey was perhaps the nicest. So, it's what you believe, isn't it? Everyone has an off day. Everyone has an on day. So, it's just different strokes for different folks, I guess. We can rebuild. Sorry, Film Wolf. You were saying about that you're happy with the imprint version of Blair Witch, which also came with the Book of Shadows sequel. That's interesting. Yeah, good. Book of Shadows is a decent sequel. Joe Berlinger directed that, didn't he? We can rebuild him. Says I've had issues with Railways. Ordered a Blu-ray. They sent me a DVD. Sent it back. No Blu-ray. No refund. Multiple emails. Grim. And to me, I don't think I would order from Railways again. The shipping process was just bananas. I can't see that it was economical in any way. I can't see that it profited them in any way. And it just seems like a crazy way to run a business. So no, tried it, got a good deal, but ultimately, no. James again says, I've been tempted to buy the Louis Feuillade Master Cinema set. It looks a pretty impressive package, 9 discs with a 27-hour watch time, but a £90 price. It is 90 quid, but it's a once in a lifetime box set, isn't it? I don't know. I'll see what money's in the bank around Christmas time, and maybe I might pick it up. Very tempted. Terry Uller, can we hear the Robert Davies story? It's not that I'll dig it up. I'll dig up the detail of it, but yeah, it's not interesting. I'm surprised so many of you are even familiar with Robert Davies. I thought it was yesterday's chip shop paper, to be honest. And finally, Anne Mumford says, my comments every week keep getting deleted. I have no idea why that keeps getting deleted. No idea. But he'd just like to say a huge thank you for bringing his attention to the upcoming Blu-ray release of Cannibal the Musical. He's going to get it on the Refuse Films label, and that's very important. Vinegar Syndrome are putting this film out, which is fine, but Refuse Films are a British company with minimal resources, and they deserve your money more than Vinegar Syndrome. There's a little bit of argy-bargy going on between the two, and certainly when I come to buy Cannibal the Musical, I will be spending my money with Liam and Refuse Films, because it's a better edition, better print, and just more love has gone into it, because you will never find anyone on this planet with more love for trauma than Liam Regan. So we should definitely spend our money on the Refuse Films version of that movie. Thank you for your comments. Please keep them coming in. We're going to finish quickly now with a couple of Sleeping Giants. Always one of the most popular sections in the store is the LGBT section. Here's 3 from there, which I heartily recommend, that don't seem to really be renting out as much as some of the other ones, but they are great. Certainly one of the most enjoyable films from that section. Well, one of the most enjoyable films in any section is GBF. Absolutely tremendous, absolute riot of a movie. Now, funnily enough, it's from Darren Stein, the director of Jawbreaker. Now, if you've seen Jawbreaker, you'll know how wonderful that film is. This is very much in the same vein. So it's kind of like a gay Jawbreaker, and it is absolutely fantastic. It's hysterical, and should definitely be on your watch list if you haven't seen it. One of the best soundtracks to any movie of the last 20 years is Crazy. What a film. Just a brilliant story, a great coming-of-age film. And it's just essential. Another one of those films is just kind of, this is Canadian, just kind of died, French Canadian, just kind of died since its release, which is just, I don't understand it. Directed, of course, by Jean-Marc Vallée. I think I might have featured this film on the show before. But here it is again, because it's tremendous, absolutely tremendous. The late Jean-Marc Vallée died tragically young. But you should see this movie, because it's a real uplifting film. And like GBF, just two films that, they just make your heart sing. They really do. So yeah, thoroughly recommended. And finally, two films that make your heart sing. This will make you jump off a bridge. But it's brilliant. It is brilliant. It's one of my favourite films of all time. Set in Nottingham with Tom Cullen and Chris New. It is directed by Andrew Haigh, who has recently been wowing people with his new movie, which I completely forgot the name of. Stay there. All of the Strangers. That's his new movie, and it is mega, of course, as you well know. But Weekend is just equally as good, if not superior. It's a brilliant love story, painfully realistic, and it's set over a weekend. And it's just absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Heartily recommend that film. I don't think anyone has ever rented it since it's been in. I have it on Blu-ray and DVD. And, if you like quality British cinema, this is essential. Okay, that's some Sleeping Giants. We'll finish off with some VHS. Most of my VHS tend to come with a story. Lucky you. I like this film. My specialist subject, of course, for VHS is the 90s. That was my era, and that's the decade in which most films are abandoned on the format. Is that the time? I've been waffling for far too long. Catherine's Grove. Catherine's Grove is great fun. It's Michael Madsen, it's Jeff Fahey, it's Maria Conchita Alonso, it's Jeffrey Donovan, it's James Hong. It's a hell of a cast. This came about because an absolutely crazy individual called Tony DeTocco in Florida, had the great idea to make a movie. I think he was a real estate guy. So he thought, well, let's remortgage our house, dear, he said to his wife. Let's go make a movie. It just spiraled out of control. It came out at a time where the home entertainment industry was beginning to die. It was licensed by North Star for release, and they didn't know what to do with it. It didn't make any money. It kind of disappeared, but it's a really, really good film. And it's just a shame that films like this have disappeared, because it's great. It's a great thriller. There's a piece on our website, theschlockpit.com, where you can read all about the making of that movie. Similarly, on the schlockpit.com, you can read all about Double Obsession. I recently chatted with Eduardo Montes, the writer-director of Double Obsession, and he gave me some great one-liners about making this film. Just absolutely crazy. But yeah, Margot Hemingway stars in this, alongside Frederick Forrest and Miriam Darbo, Scott Valentine as well. It's an interesting... It's billed as an erotic thriller. It's not really, but it's a very interesting film, and I urge you to read the making of it, which is on my website, because it's startling. And it is a shame that some of these films get lost, because they're great, great films, and there's so much history attached to them. And to see them kind of rotting on VHS is a bit distressing, but, if you know, you know. And finally, we have 12 Angry Men. No, it's not the Sidney Lumet film. It is the William Friedkin version of 12 Angry Men. I saw someone posted this on Blue Sky recently, that they were watching it, and it just reminded me that, how can you go and make remake a classic like 12 Angry Men, the brilliant Lumet film? Well, you can, because you can give it to William Friedkin, and he will do a damn fine job, and he has done a damn fine job. It's an excellent twist on the original. Well worth a look, but of course it was a TV movie made probably for HBO, and you're unlikely to see it on VHS or DVD or Blu-ray ever again, sadly. And that is it. That is it for today. Have we talked about everything? I think we have. Sorry for waffling on a bit too long. Come and join me on Blue Sky, which is really good fun. We can chat 7 days a week. Wouldn't that be great? Yeah, just feel free to comment below with anything you want to talk about, anything you want to ask or suggest. Recommendations, always welcome. And that's it. So yeah, back next week with some more boutiques. As I said, small what's in the box, but there'll still be plenty to talk about, as there always is, because it's a non-stop lifestyle in this crazy world of the video store. And I will see you in 7 days' time.